Wake Forest 5-0. They won the preseason NIT, including a victory over Arizona. The tip controlled by Illinois in orange.
And Joe McDonough and Jay Billis. Wake Forest goes minute.
Deron Williams, the preseason Big Ten Player of the Year. He was matched up right away with Chris Paul. Roger Powell Jr. and now D. Brown, Luther Head in this three-guard alignment. He's the third, but he's their leading scorer, sometimes overshadowed by Williams and Brown. And Williams missed a three. The rebound controlled by Powell.
And Sean, both clubs do a great job reversing the ball, really make the defense work.
Illinois, a motion team. They make great reads, and they're going to have to rebound the ball all night long against a bigger Wake Forest team.
Head missed, but James Augustine, the junior, was there to rebound, and he was fouled. He'll go to the line. The three guards, Williams, Brown, and Head, with Powell and Augustine. And for Wake Forest, the great backcourt of Paul and Gray with Jamal Levy, Danilus, and Williams. Danilus has had an up-and-down season. He committed the foul on Augustine, who makes the first.
Sean, a lot of talk about the guard play. I think it's going to be Powell and Levy, how they perform, what they can contribute for this team, because it could be a wash in the backcourt. They're both so solid.
And Augustine is going to have to do a good job on the defensive end of denying Eric Williams that deep post position. Right now, Powell is guarding Williams. They've got to push him off that low block, not let him get into the orange.
Big thing with Wake Forest, they can dribble, drive, and be creative.
Well, look at the pressure.
Jamal Levy, the senior. They have three seniors on this team. Paul, and he's guarded in the early going by Head. 10 seconds to shoot. Very deep three by Justin Gray. The putback up and in for Jamal Levy.
It's interesting. They doubled the box, and they never recovered to a checkout position. Solid offensive rebound.
Well, both teams so concerned with guarding, they're not blocking out right now.
D. Brown for three, and he has had an amazing start, shooting 62% for the year from three-point range entering tonight. And the response at the other end by Eric Williams, the junior.
Nice quick move, and Illinois did a good job of pushing him off the block. You want to get him out that far, but when you make a move that quickly, that's solid.
Automatic switching on the perimeter. Williams at the other end matched up with Levy. See if they take advantage of that Wake at the other end.
And the shot up and in for Roger Powell Jr. Skip Prosser said we expect when he gets the ball, he's going to shoot, because in this three-guard offense, he doesn't touch it very often. When he does, he often puts it up.
You're trying to create dissension already, huh? There's a lot of chemistry.
Successfully so. Powell shooting 74% from the floor for the season. Good look. Crowd wants a traveling call. There's going to be a foul called instead by Steve Wellmer. Deron Williams was called for the foul for Illinois, and the rebound controlled by Powell.
Both clubs are so well coached. They balance the floor. It's very important to get each. What a hesitation. Oh, pretty. A little blow by and fine.
Well, how about the hesitation move by Deron Williams? Not a smart play, though. He's got two fouls now. Boy, Deron Williams has to go out of the game this early. That is a major blow to Illinois for him to pick up his second foul this early in the game.
Well, the first one was a nickel dimer. He shouldn't have had it. That's what cost you eventually.
And right off the inbounding play, a three for Justin Gray, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Gray can shoot off the catch or the dribble. You have got to make him put it on the floor.
Wake really plays on the high side. See the front on Augustine. They really get up in the passing lane. Great length. Levy out there deflects and goes the other way. You'll see Strickland doing the same when he comes in.
Rich McBride has come in, replacing Williams for Illinois. And a strong move to the bucket by Luther Head. He's averaging 17.5 per game to lead the Illini.
Because of Wake Forest pressure, it's going to be harder for Illinois to make passes. That means they're going to have to do more off the bounce. Very effective.
Nice cut there, and look, got to finish. Danilus with a great look.
Levy missed a short one. Finally, Augustine was able to control the rebound. Brown sizzling, missed that one. We watched him shoot for about an hour and their shoot-around this morning, and he almost never missed, regardless of how deep he was, and that's been the case in games this year, too. After Chris Paul missed, McBride, he can make threes. Rich McBride, the sophomore from Springfield, Illinois, gives the Illini the largest lead of the game.
When they run, they spread. They had head on the other side. In this corner, McBride.
Strong move underneath, but the shot wouldn't go for Williams. The Illini in their first 4 games shooting an eye-popping 54% from the floor.
Oh, what a pass. Oh, gotta finish.
And Powell couldn't. They're shooting 47% for the year from 3, assisting on 72% of their buckets. Very unselfish. And Danilus quiets the crowd with a 3.
You remember what Skip Prosser said today? Adversity. How are we going to take the hits? How are we going to bounce back? Are we just going to shoot it or find a way to make it?
Well, that was a big basket for Danilus. He went scoreless up in New York City. His confidence vital.
And the 3 answered by a 3 from Roger Powell, just his 2nd of the year. But sometimes shooting is contagious, and this is an Illini team that has shot unbelievably well so far this year. Danilus tried another and missed. Just the kind of action you'd expect at the start of this one. McBride missed, and Powell's over the back. Well, it is Paint the Hall Orange night here at Assembly Hall in Champaign. It's become an annual tradition, and certainly Bruce Weber has fallen in line with it. Justin Gray the miss, and the rebound pulled down by Nick Smith, the 7'2" big fellow who just came in off the bench.
And he's a big screen and pop guy. They're hoping he'll start shooting it like he did last year.
Did a good job defensively on Williams on that duck in.
Deron Williams.
Here he is sliding to the corner.
Still on the bench with 2 fouls.
This is his shot.
And he missed a long 2. It's kept alive by McBride, but here's Chris Paul one-on-one with D. Brown.
How a discard, huh? Pretty.
How about those hands to knock that ball forward and grab it?
He is a solid player. Somewhat people forget about him because Paul is so good.
And even though they're in different leagues, this is just the 2nd meeting all time between these 2 teams. These guards know each other. They played against each other in AAU ball and in summer camps.
Well, Paul knows he's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, so just got down into the paint with D. Brown and bullied him. Brown has an advantage in speed, even though Paul is quick and fast. But Paul, much stronger, especially after last year where he got beat up physically a little bit by Jameer Nelson in the NCAA tournament. He came back determined to get stronger and has.
D. Brown said that Chris Paul called him over the weekend and told the Illini to take it easy on Wake Forest tonight after the Demon Deacons saw what the Illini did to Gonzaga over the weekend in Indianapolis. At one point in that game, Illinois had a 38-point lead against the top 25 team. Smith fouled. Last year he got heat for a tangerine colored jacket, so this year he said, I'll make sure it's orange. Our fans won't complain that it's tangerine. He said, this jacket's going to be so bright you'll know that I don't have to turn the light on in my closet.
I was going to say he's not taking heat, he's giving it off with that jacket.
I was here last year when he wore it. He just ran out and picked one up and of course chastised for it. This year he had it tailor-made. Hope the tailor got cash.
Well, great atmosphere here. We mentioned 1979 when a #1 team came in here led by Magic Johnson. That was the only time Illinois has ever defeated a top-ranked team. And of course later that year Magic and the Spartans of Michigan State went on to win the national championship.
That's one of those loose balls right there. So important in tough competition.
Both teams have to improve their transition defense, not stopping the ball. Too many easy opportunities.
Strong move inside for Eric Williams, the junior from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Said I went to Wake Forest Middle School, Wake Forest High School, so I guess I had to go to Wake Forest University.
He did a good job. He can really duck in with power. Again, he doesn't do a good job showing defensively. And the head of the class, Luther, knocks it in.
First he showed too high, then not enough.
7 for Head. The lead is 7. All 5 Wake Forest starters have scored. Williams a miss. Head got stuck in the air, and fortunately for him, Smith was there to bail him out. E. Brown into the corner for Roger Powell Jr. As we said, when he gets it, he usually shoots, and he makes another.
Why not?
Powell, a wing that is playing in the post. Great versatility on the floor.
Great attitude for a player. He's posted up with Williams. He's in there a long time, Williams, trying to seal him and get the ball reversed.
Chris Ellis is in, number 0 for Wake Forest. Deron Downey, number 4, a guard. He gives them a strong 3-guard look along with Paul and Gray. Was the starter before Paul arrived as a freshman last year. Williams fouled.
Ellis with a nice entry pass. Sean and Jay.
Well, this is the 100th anniversary of Illinois basketball, and they're going to have ceremonies during the year to mark that. They hope that Coach Henson will be able to make it back. Eric Williams made 1 out of 2. The free throw shooting, with the exception of Paul, hasn't been very good this year for Wake Forest.
Little 1-3-1. They can trap out of it. Skip Prosser said today he didn't think they could go an entire 40 minutes up here and play all man-to-man, and he has used this 1-3-1 as well as some junk from time to time. A little triangle and 2 against GW, some box and 1.
He's a little bit of a Jimmy V guy. He'll mix it whatever necessary. You know, I thought GW did a great job against them pressing. Illinois is not that type of team as they get the perimeter jumper. And why not? As Rich McBride, as he wants to be known now, knocks it down.
He's made 2 of those off the bench. He came in when Deron Williams went out with 2 fouls. And Illinois has widened the lead with the Big Ten preseason player of the year on the bench.
This is where I think Wake's impressive. They can go deep now. Visser, Ellis on the floor, Strickland on the floor. Downey you mentioned earlier. I mean, they really have a nice rotation. Get guys rested.
11 minutes to go in the first half. Sean McDonough with Jay Billis and Bill Raftery.
Illinois stealing some minutes with Deron Williams on the bench. He's only played 3 minutes in this game, but had 3 assists.
Going to get corner jumpers on this 1-3-1, or a guy like Visser has to run out. Too far to go for him. Can't cover. A little kiss.
Boy, how about that recovery after he bobbled a very difficult pass?
And the answer, the other end by Kyle Visser, the 6'11 sophomore who recently entered the game. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
The transition defense really hurting Illinois.
That's his shot. He's not making it, though.
Powell on the floor couldn't get it. Powell leading the way for the Illini with 9. Downey nearly clipped. And now in a battle for the ball. It's a held ball. And will stick with Wake Forest as they go to the arrow. Bruce Weber, a Milwaukee native, 48 years old. 18 years an assistant to Gene Cady. Finally decided it was time to become a head coach. Went to Southern Illinois. Puts Williams back in the ball game with 2 fouls. Had 5 excellent years with the Salukis. Then came here to fulfill his dream to be a coach in the Big Ten. And after a tough start to last season, it ended up a terrific year, 26-7, the Big Ten title.
They run a nice play to get Paul that look. They screen for him. He inbounded the ball, didn't make it.
Well, how about Ingram clearing out underneath?
And look who's in with the 2.
Williams, he has to be mature here. He can't pick up a 3rd foul before halftime.
But he's got 3 officials that know the game, too. They won't give him a cheapie.
Williams missed a 3. On the floor, Visser. His pass a little hard for Ellis, but carried off to Chris Paul.
Steps, yeah.
Traveling the call.
What did Skip Prosser say? Where was he going after the shoot around today?
He was going to go to Mass. He said, I don't pray for victories. I just pray for wisdom. He said, I really don't want to let my players down. I ask God to give me the wisdom to do my best so I don't let my team down.
And I told him I prayed for wins. Because I obviously didn't know. I knew I didn't have any wisdom. But a deep, intelligent man who really stresses values with his team.
Made the decision to stay at Wake Forest. He's a Pittsburgh native. Was widely rumored to be heading back to Pittsburgh when Ben Howland left the Panthers to go to UCLA. Ingram a tip. Jack's just off the bench, a senior from San Antonio, Texas.
Illinois finding it a lot tougher to run coherent offense.
Pretty slip between like Jordan.
Hit in the back of the head after he released the shot by Ingram.
And how about that? Pulling up short instead of taking it too deep. He worked on that all summer long after Michael Jordan mentioned to him that, son, you're taking it a little too deep. Learn how to stop and pop that little short jumper, the mid-range game.
And early in the game, I think Rick Majerus had the GW game as one of the things he suggested. Get that runner if he's getting in there as well. Solid play using the screen. An effective dribble.
And a foul in the corner on Trent Strickland.
And as Chris Fowler mentioned, it feels like April, a game of this stature.
I like just neither coach nor any of the players we spoke with try to downplay it. Sometimes they act like, oh, it's no big deal. It's early in the season. These players were fired up for this, excited about it. They realize it's big, even though it's early.
Pretty give.
Head off the feed from Williams. A 3 for Luther Head. He has 10.
Great suckage with the dribble and the kick.
That's the way a point guard's supposed to play.
Augustine, the rejection. Brown, the one-man fast break.
And how about the way he used his body to ward off? Keep Levy in abeyance.
Boy, Brown is so much better with Williams in the game. Then he can work on his strength, which is running the floor.
He's guarding Paul. Vanilus, double teamed.
And a great job by Head shading to help the post delivery.
Or the trap on the ball screen.
And Augustine a bit too frisky and called for his first foul. 16 fouls on Illinois. The next one is the bonus after the foul by Augustine a moment ago.
Good help there by Powell.
Nice catch and look.
And Levy missed a short one. Vanilus missed a short one. Levy another chance.
When Augustine was going after the blocks, he opened up the offensive glass. His teammates have got to come down there and stick their nose in.
4 points for Jamal Levy, the senior from Panama City, Panama. Went to high school in Florida. Brown turned the corner with his great speed. Head wants another. Brown crashed for the rebound.
So active. That's what makes you win. And a good look here. One hands by Augustine.
Oh, they got the bounce. He went up for a dunk. He couldn't control it, but it went off his fingertips and bounced in. Gray, Mr. Runner. Head with it. Numbers on the break for the Illini.
Nice look.
And what you have to like is the maturity for nothing fancy. A simple pass, a simple layup. Make sure they get the bucket. And Skip Prosser gets the timeout.
There's a little dive, slice cut to the box, and a little stagger screen. Handled well.
Downey, part of a three-guard look right now for Coach Prosser, and the tip up and in by Levy.
Well, he is active, Jay. How he slithers in, long arms.
Reminds you a lot of James Posey, who played for Skip Prosser at Xavier. The long arms, the versatility. He can really guard and rebound.
You see him out in the lane, really forced the back cut. Here he does again on Powell. Powell's not going to get it out there. He's going to have to step and go. He and Strickland do a great job on the wings.
Steve Brown on the bench getting a breather. It's Williams in Head with Augustine, Powell, and McBride.
Nice look. And that's what you got to do. Make the guy who's gambling like Levy turn his head, step and go.
Well, they're going to turn their head eventually if you keep moving. And Illinois does a great job of moving the ball and moving themselves. And ultimately, the defense will break down. Too quick.
Long with a three. Williams tipped the rebound to Augustine. And now Williams, the junior from the Colony, Texas. He was a high school teammate of Indiana's Bracy Wright.
Nice screen by Augustine in the finish.
Head didn't get the bounce. Paul has 5 points so far on 2 out of 5 shooting. Nice look away pass into Eric Williams. He has 7.
Williams is one of those guys that gets to the rim, catches it. Nice look. Didn't even have to duck in. Clever play by Paul.
Well, good job by Levy. I thought Paul gave the ball up too early on the break, but when he got it back, made a brilliant pass.
You get the feeling they're playing too fast, don't you?
I think Wake Forest is shooting a little bit too quickly. Illinois has done a better job in their offensive sets of making Wake Forest guard by making passes, and they're shooting the three extremely well.
And, the big thing, I think it's the home crowd's got them forcing it quickly. Just relax, and I'm sure that's what nice back cut. Step and go. A little lingerie on the deck.
Little 1-4 set. You get it to the high post, and the immediate back cut, and it was wide open.
Nice pass by Schmidt.
To D. Brown. And the lead back up to 15, matching the largest for the Illini. 4.5 minutes to go. The Illini have assisted on 12 of their 15 field goals. Paul has been in a little bit of a shooting slump. He was 2 for 11 against Arizona in their last ball game. And it's Brown who's been anything but in a slump.
You got to step up and stop him at some point. They had plenty of people back. They had balanced and recovered. The little guy is sticking it in.
But the transition defense has been poor really on both sides. But Wake Forest has got to stop the ball, and they've got to get a hand up on shooters. Make them put it on the floor.
Now this is a better set. They've reversed it. A tough shot under duress, though.
Gray had Brown right in his face. Wake Forest did get a timeout. On the bench at the moment, Paul, a tough runner. And Ellis tried for the one-handed dunk foul, and there's Paul in the traffic to score.
Yeah, he's so good with the dribble, Jay. He can get shots. I don't know if he has to do it immediately now as they gather some momentum back into this game.
Little 2-3 zone for Wake Forest.
Now watch the deep shooters. They really get into cracks, reverse the ball, they go over the top. Now look at this overload.
Good job of screening the zone as well. Great fade.
Wow. Airborne.
So confident shooting the basketball right now, and 13 points for D. Brown.
Well, his stroke is so much tighter this year. You can tell he's done a lot of work on it.
And no leg problems either. That stress fracture last year, a major issue.
That's
and
the pass.
Three to run Downey, the lefty, out of that nice pass out of the double team by Eric Williams.
Anytime you're double teamed, you want to dribble out of it if you can and look opposite. That skip pass is usually going to be open for a shot, but it's got to be a good pass. You can't lollipop it.
And the middle's going to be open. Williams has to move a whole lot, covered baseline and right there. Now they can slip somebody in.
They got to get their hands up. Everybody's hands are down by their side. This is a small zone right now.
McBride missed a three. Powell the rebound. They're managing to keep Williams on the bench and rest him some more. Keep him out of the third foul. With this big lead, they can afford to keep Williams on the pine. Brown, another three.
Just can't find the defense. He's a man-to-man guy, but trying to gather his team a little bit. I think the zone is going to cause very little problems for Illinois.
Williams answers. D. Brown is 7 out of 8 from the floor in the game. 2 out of 3 from three-point range. He has 16 points here in the half. Williams is 9 for Wake.
And Skip quickly goes back. Minute.
Illinois has never trailed in the half. The only tie was at 2-2.
A little back pick, and the screener usually open.
Well, the referee is on fire. Is he shooting it beautifully?
Roger Powell Jr., the senior, a licensed minister in the Pentecostal Church, is already on his way to graduating in December with a degree in speech communications.
Oh, no, I don't like this one, even if it goes in. You got to go, and you don't need it.
Well,
he loves to stick it in, though.
He could feel it, but that was not a smart shot.
Big now, I think. Score, get a couple of stops if you're Wake. Get yourself right back in, get some confidence.
Paul missed a three. Powell the rebound.
Well, you got time for a 2-for-1 here, and I think you ought to use it.
I think they will.
6 rebounds and a half for Powell to go with 14 points.
A nice job by Bruce getting Deron Williams. Got him with some time with the 2 fouls. Took him out.
They did not go quickly for that 2-for-1 opportunity here. Down to 10 to shoot.
Well, with this lead, you can certainly afford not to, but what a move.
Ooh, take the collection. Oh, my goodness.
Thanks to some incredible shooting by Illinois, 60% from the field. Powell finishes the three-point play at 17 points. He's 7 of 8 from the floor. Brown 7 for 9.
He was the homecoming king in high school. He'll be more than that here the way he's playing if he keeps it up all year long.
Homecoming king and the start in the school musicals his junior and senior year. He's a multi-talented young man.
And raved about his home structure to both Jay and I this morning.
Final seconds of a dreadful half for Wake Forest and a fitting conclusion for them. That would have been the fitting conclusion. D. Brown, James Augustine. Brown at 16 points. Powell at all scores with 17. Luther Head had 10. This is Head. Tough shot. Didn't get the roll, and Eric Williams the rebound. He led Wake Forest with 9 points in the first half. And a throwaway by Justin Gray, who turned an ankle, but is back in there to start the half for Skip Prosser.
That's where you need patience.
Yeah, you don't want to start that way, right? Augustine was there. Not the kind of trajectory he would be able to run under. But think of Head and Powell, been around a long time, experience. Both of them so solid the first half.
This is where Illinois, Williams picked up his dribble, but this is where Illinois can really make Wake Forest guard. Get a little bit deeper into that clock, let them break down a bit, make them foul you.
And this is where Skip has worked the most, Sean. And we talk about some numbers as we go along. They feel they got to get better on this end.
And more evidence of that again tonight. 54-33 Illinois. Nearly a minute into the second half. Last year, Wake Forest gave up 84 points per game. They scored 84 points per game. But because of their defense, they lost double digits for the season. A strip by Head of Eric Williams, because last year the field goal percentage defense allowed was 45%. In ACC play it was over 47%. You can't be one of the very best teams in the country and you play defense like that.
And giving up 76 points is a lot of numbers. The last play, though, they ran it correctly, but great read and preparation by Illinois.
Solid job by Head, but you've got to get that shot off quicker if you're Eric Williams. You've got to make a faster and stronger move.
Skip Prosser said he saw signs of defensive improvement in the preseason NIT. There's Gray for three. They held Arizona to 60 points in the championship game of the preseason NIT, including just 23 points for the Wildcats in the second half. But this has not been a good defensive performance tonight by Wake, reminiscent of last year.
A good offense helps your defense, and the last trip was excellent. Good ball distribution, cross-court pass, and the knockdown. Nice lead pass.
And Augustine scores inside. The honorable mention All Big Ten player last year when he scored 9.5 points per game and led them with 7 rebounds per game. He has 6 points tonight.
Not much annoys me, Jay, but when you sell out on a three-quarter, let the guy catch it if you can't steal it and get behind him.
Well, that may be true on post defense, but you've got to have better weak side help there.
Gray missed a bunny, and Gray couldn't get it up to the rim as it was deflected. And the Fighting Illini run. Brown with a rare miss. Brown was 7 of 9 shooting in the first half. Gray way off. And the rebound down to Luther Head, the senior from Chicago.
Well, Sean, that's a pretty good look for Gray. I mean, that's not characteristic of the way he knocks shots down.
And a foul called on Paul. Williams, tough shot in the lane. Augustine with the tip in.
Boy, that's a great job they had. Then on his top side, he became the guy that checked his opponent out. Great play by the big guy. He is key to this team, don't you think, Jay?
No question about it.
He's got a big upside. If that light goes on, he knows how to play.
And he can run the floor, very athletic, got a good feel.
He was a quarterback in high school. He's 6'10". Played for his dad in high school, Lincoln Way Central here in Illinois. He was his football coach.
Dee Brown told me he saw him play. He said never saw a bigger dude at quarterback.
Dee Brown was an excellent high school quarterback. Last foul was on Jamal Levy of Wake Forest, his second. 4 minutes gone by, second half. Illinois by 20. Roger Powell Jr. misses inside, so they're not as hot as they were in the first half, but that was to be expected. It would be difficult to stay that hot.
But they're getting great shots. Another middle drive allowed.
Illinois just 2 for 8 from the floor in this half. Williams a miss from the perimeter. Luther Head. Skip Prosser tried to recruit him to Wake Forest. Luther came to Illinois in his home state. Williams a miss. They can go cold.
Well, their defense isn't as good right now, Illinois as well. So I just think patience on this end, reverse the ball and get some duck ins. Get your post guy a touch low. Then step into a shooting area.
And Gray with a 3. That's what they had a game earlier this year against Florida A&M Illinois where they went 12 minutes without a field goal. So as well as they've shot it this year, they are capable of a extended drought. That's what the Deacons are going to need from Illinois to get back in the game.
Paul did a nice job handling that double. Step through, found his partner.
Well, they get good side-to-side action. That's going to open up something eventually.
Augustin's really keeping Williams active too, screening, drifting.
Williams got Paul in the air and a foul on the rebounding action. And it's on Levy, and that's his third.
What did Skip say about how unselfish Illinois were? Look at this blow by and fine.
He said they were very unselfish.
70% of the field goals are on passes, which he really, and he said they're 40%, but he felt they drove more and finished, they being Wake.
They have not shot well tonight. Hall just going to use that one to get it down to 14. They've chipped away a little bit of the deficit, down 21 at halftime.
Well, Head really puts pressure on. He waited for everybody to get to the rim. He can run the floor and prepare himself beautifully.
Well, as soon as he sees one of his teammates in a position to get the ball, he leaks out early. And you're right, Bill, that puts a lot of pressure on your transition defense. Everything's scattered.
Head does not get the same attention and publicity as Williams or Brown. The question I would ask you is, should he? I mean, is he right there equal to them? Or
I think he's a wing player, you know, an excellent player and an experienced player. But I don't know if he can do that on a regular basis. Plus, he doesn't draw the best defender as the other two might, Sean.
It's the first bucket of the night for Deron Williams. His first points for the preseason Big Ten Player of the Year, and still his team leads by 22. That's how good this team is.
And he's had a big impact on the game. His assists, the way he steadies his team in transition and in the half court.
7 assists for Deron Williams. Eric Williams double teamed and got bailed out on the foul called by Ted Hillary.
At the line for Wake Forest.
Love his strength, Jay. I mean, he's a guy that can discard legally and still finish shots. Great body for basketball. Highly rated by a lot of people in the country in terms of a future.
And rightfully so. He will be a first-round NBA draft pick whenever he decides to come out.
Preseason conference player of the year. That's the 5th year in a row that Illinois has had the preseason Big Ten Player of the Year. D. Brown last year, Brian Cook, Frank Williams, Corey Bradford, the others.
Into the Wake Forest lineup,
Chris Ellis is coming back in for Wake Forest to join Downey, Paul, Visser, and Gray for Wake. #1 in the country for the first time in school history. They assumed the #1 mantle on November 22nd. And they might be out of that position at the end of this week if it stays this way.
Well, as we all know, it doesn't mean anything right now. Fans love it, and these fans love him. He's great without the basketball, uses bumps excellently.
And what a mature move. He let the defense fly on by and then pulled up for the short jumper. And
how about with this, huh?
Just smartly pulling it back out, going to run some clock. And well, Chris Paul is so good with his hands and strong.
And so quick. A little careless there by Deron.
Got to get back.
The preseason Player of the Year took it away from the Big Ten preseason Player of the Year. Downey missed a 3. Last touch by Ellis. His team endured a transition year last year. He came here, inherited an excellent team from Bill Self, who was very well liked both within the program by the players and also in the community with the Illini fans. Didn't start very well. At one point they were 3-3. They had a team meeting. He threw everybody out of practice. Players went in and had a meeting, came back out and said, we'd really like to practice. So we all need to get on the same page, or what could be a great year is going to go out the window. They went from 3-3 in the Big Ten to 13-3. So win the title outright for the first time for Illinois in 52 years. And as Bruce Weber says, this year, all that's behind us. No need for transition. Everybody understands what's happening, and they look like it.
Smith. How pretty was that? The little back screen to the flare and the drive, kicking it back. Well conceived and well executed.
And he spaces out beautifully. He being Smith can knock him down. The big thing after the Missouri game, little alley-oop, nothing working here for Wake. Numbers.
McBride steps into a 3.
It's like a drill in practice right now, the way they're running the floor, distributing the basketball, and acknowledging the pass.
And Wake Forest is just stunned. They've got glazed looks on their faces. When they came into this building, Illinois punched them right in the mouth, and they need to respond.
Now, this is what a home court does for you, though. You got to take the hit as an opponent.
Gray a miss. 10 threes for Illinois. They tied the school record with 14 in their last game against Gonzaga. They may surpass that tonight. McBride a miss. Out of bounds.
How impressive has Illinois been tonight? I mean, they have every intention of blowing Wake Forest even further out of this building.
Get the big guy involved in there. 19 assists to 11. That tells you a lot about the teamwork of the Illini.
They had missed the previous 7 shots before that field goal by Williams, ending a drought of more than 3 minutes without scoring for Wake. And at the other end, it's Roger Powell Jr. His dad played at Illinois State, where he was a fine player.
You know, it's funny, Illinois has kind of taken their own crowd out of this game by how easy they've made this look.
I was going to say, gentlemen, 1,100 students comprising the Orange Crush.
All right, thank you for the gentleman, by the way. I appreciate the comment, but this is as good as it gets. I've been here many an evening. Then you get after it. It's a
great atmosphere
great
here.
Basketball.
And I really admire this Orange Crush. You know, there are a lot of great student sections around the country, but the Orange Crush has actually formed into a foundation. And obviously the crowd, a big reason why they have the best record in the country at home since 2000. And over the last 5 years, the student section here has raised $600,000, 50% of which has gone to local charities and 50% to endow scholarships. Right now they're working to endow a scholarship in sports medicine to help pay for a scholarship for somebody who worked with Rod Cardinal, a longtime trainer here.
Rod's now director of operations. It's a little easier for him. Got the front office job, and again, it continues the onslaught, using the floor, spacing, and then converting.
But how about the pass fake? That's what made the defense jump and opened up that lane on the baseline.
Paul for 3.
Like to see that. There's a lot of character in this team. Get themselves back in it. I don't think they can win this, but I think the season is very important that you compete coming down the stretch.
I think this is vital for them to have a good second half here. A couple years ago, they lost in a similar game at North Carolina when they were expected to go into Chapel Hill and win. And they got punched in the mouth similarly, saw their own blood, and they were not the same for the rest of the year. Now, I think they're much more mature now, but this is certainly not something that this team expected.
You notice Deron Williams, guys, with the basketball, with Paul. He's got to learn to protect that basketball. That's twice. There was a foul called on that one. But he can't toy with it in front of those quick defenders.
He's got a high dribble, but you know, most great dribblers, great handlers have high dribbles. I've never seen a great handler with a low dribble.
I know you would remember, but Bob Cousy had a high dribble too. I think they tease you and then blow by you.
Levy thought about it and jacked a 3. And the rebound to Williams. D. Brown with under 9.5 minutes to go now. Illinois leading 74-49.
Good ball dispersal, though. There's that widening out by Smith. He does that so well. And they worked hard, all the coaches with him on that jump shot the last couple of days. Was struggling coming in here. Bruce Weber worked a great while. Jay Price, I think he was down to 25%, and he's a good shooter.
Well, that pick and pop ability is so hard. D. Brown got hit hard by Danilus on that screen. He's hurt.
Nick Smith, the tallest player in the history of this program at 7'2". He's ahead of the field, wants the ball. Instead, it's head for 3.
Well, this is ugly. I mean, Wake Forest is not contesting anything.
I thought until tonight, North Carolina was the best team we had seen, removing that blemish against Santa Clara when they play without Felton. They demolished the competition out in Maui and continued that back home against Southern California. And the crowd now chanting overrated in the direction of the #1 team in the country, Wake Forest, soon to shed that ranking.
I think D. Brown either has some blood exposed or taking him out.
He got clocked by Danilus. Nobody called out that high screen, and he ran straight into it. And the former high school quarterback got his bell rung, but still had the presence of mind to run down offensively and make a nice play.
Al Martindale, longtime football trainer. When Rod became director of operations, he took over the trainer's office.
And a foul called on Deron Williams. Well, this area could really use a lift from Illini basketball. The Chicago professional teams aren't doing particularly well these days. And, of course, it was a bad year in football here. Ron Turner, the classy football coach, recently let go by Illinois. They're searching for a head coach right now. This is a sports area that could use a boost from a terrific team like this Illini basketball squad. That's a travel, and Paul whistled for it.
That's one where he should have kept the dribble alive once more. The man came at him, he could have delivered.
Well, this is going to be their worst loss under Skip Prosser unless they can rally here. They're down by 30 at the moment. But certainly he has the right demeanor to bring them back from a night such as this.
Very philosophical young man. This is one of those things, though. I'm sure they'll be back. That's not the case in point, but I think you've got to grow the last 8 minutes now. Be tougher-minded. You've made a lot of mistakes, but boy, they are just not covering for one another, slipping to the goal. Well, 2-on-1.
Bill, I agree with you that they will come back, but you worry about them being scarred. To walk in number one and take a beating like this, and when you get punched in the mouth to not respond any stronger, that's got to shake your confidence going down the stretch in this season.
Well, they are just making fast breaks. 2 guys beating 3 down the floor there.
Boy, it's been impressive on the defensive end to watch Deron Williams guarding Jamal Levy. He's shown a little bit of versatility with his strength.
Head guarded by the excellent defender Levy. Williams with Gray on him. 7.5 minutes to go. 10 to shoot for Illinois.
Very good without the ball. Here's a 2-man play again. Little screen and spread.
And Augustine deflected that out of bounds. It'll be Wake Forest basketball when we come back. Very impressive performance, perhaps a history-making performance by the Illini here tonight. The worst loss ever suffered by a #1 team in the country, 41 points back in 1951 when St. John's was drilled by Kentucky.
And, you know, Sean, before you say anything, I was not at that game, nor did I work it. Going inside the second time, maybe Williams might be the answer. But
Well, he's been the only offense for Wake Forest, got 18.
Frank McGuire had to be the coach in 51.
Where were you that night in line for your AARP card?
I was at the junior prom.
Never closer than 17 points here in the second half. Williams had trouble on the catch and still made an acrobatic score.
Boy, no pressure on the ball. The defense, it turns its head, an easy back cut, but a spectacular finish by Deron Williams.
He has 8 all here in the second half. Downey for 3.
So I think the offense has done some better things this half. Obviously, when you make the shot, it's more noticeable for Wake. But this is the end. They've really got to get honed in on.
No, defensively, Wake Forest has not been good in the second half. They're 2-man oriented. There's nobody on the weak side. That drive is way too easy. Well, Sean, you mentioned the difficulty this team had buying in last year to Bruce Weber's system. What another great out-of-bounds play. They're just out-executing Wake Forest and burying the Deacons.
Now, Wake worked on that. Finish your thought with Sean.
Well, last year I think that this Illinois team took some time to buy into the motion system. They have bought in completely now.
And how about the motion on the defensive end? Numbers here. Look at all the orange shirts. 5-on-2 at one point.
Williams a miss. And the rebound down to Manaloose. Under 6 minutes to go. Things don't go well at the beginning. Sometimes in this era of instant gratification, you want results right away.
Well, but I was talking primarily, you're absolutely right, but I was talking primarily about motion. The difference between running a system like Bill Self had, that high-low stagger way where you knew exactly where all your shots were coming. And it is hard to buy into. And if everybody doesn't buy into it, it does not work very well. And this team now is really a true motion team. They have a lot of different entries into it.
I mentioned the Missouri game earlier. He said to them after that game last year, look, I'm the coach. Bill Self has gone to Kansas, and that sort of established, look, he's the boss, let's get going. And the players now say to a man they like him.
One of 3 Illinois players from Texas. The other 10 are all from Illinois. Williams and Ingram, as well as Carter, hail from the Lone Star State.
Boy, do you think Illinois has gone a long way to establishing, at least between the two, who's the best backcourt in the country? I don't think there's a whole lot of argument right now.
No.
And don't forget, they did this without Deron Williams, the 10 minutes of that first half when they blew it open because there was 2 foul problems. So they are deep and ready.
Well, based on what we've seen so far, to me, the argument would be, is this Illinois backcourt better than North Carolina?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think with Raymond Felton and Rashad McCants, that is the next challenge for these players, is are they as good as that backcourt?
Well, I love McCants. I mean, if his head is on, he's one of the great talents of the country. And Felton, just his ability to run a club and break down defenses. I mean, that's whoever the coach has got to love their guys because they're both a good group.
And it'll be interesting to see what North Carolina does against Indiana at Assembly Hall in Bloomington. Sean May going back to where he grew up, where his dad starred as a collegian for Bob Knight.
And I certainly hope they treat him well, too.
Well, I know Wake Forest, the preseason pick in the ACC, I think North Carolina's better. I know we're catching Wake Forest on a horrible night, but both teams, Wake Forest and North Carolina, have outstanding guards that rival any team in the country. Don't you think Wake Forest has people in the front court who can do more than this group can for Wake, and I think they have a better bench than Wake.
Well, if North Carolina plays the way they have the last 4 ball games, it's going to take an extraordinary effort to beat the Tar Heels. No question.
This is here, though. I mean, it's a tough grading system for Wake. I mean, a first truly great road test.
Yeah, but Bill, by 30.
I understand, but when things go south, I know it didn't happen too much in your career because you were very successful.
Well,
but when things do go south, it's tough to get it back.
The game is just pieces and pieces. If I gave you the choice of choosing Wake Forest's front court players or North Carolina's on your team, who would you take?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Whose bench would you take?
That one's a tough.
I think Wake is pretty deep, I think. Although, again, the judgment of today is virtually impossible.
Yeah, I agree with you. The bench is probably more of a toss-up. Vandelus, they'll certainly need more from him. He was not physically well in New York for those 2 games in the NIT semis and finals when he did not score at all. But he had a down season last year after a very good year 2 years ago.
Boy, Deron, just watching him move without the ball, he is vastly improved over last year, and he was very good last year.
Both of these guys are great without the ball. That's why it's a double-edged sword there at the point.
Wake Forest looks absolutely beat up and demoralized. They're not pressuring the ball. They're laid off the screens. They're running into screens.
Good defense by Levy as Carter was about to hoist a shot with the shot clock expiring. Game clock expiring too. Down to 3 minutes to go here in Champaign. Kyle Visser, excuse me, scores.
That is a look at Steve Welmer, fine official who is going to be inducted into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. He was just selected for induction.
Well, he is one of the very best officials in the country, and this has been a very well officiated game tonight.
He was proud to tell us that he's only 4 miles from Dick Vitale's home.
Yes, he's moved down to Florida now, lives near Dick. Strong move inside for Sean Pruitt, the freshman. It's his name on the score sheet. He's from Aurora, Illinois, out of West Aurora.
You know, as bleak as this is for Wake, think of this game being down at Winston-Salem. I mean, I'm not saying it would be a whole lot different, but I do think the home court early in the year is a distinct advantage. No, you're rolling your eyes.
It's not worth 30 points.
Game, Bill.
There is no way that Illinois would lose by 30 at Wake.
But you don't. I'm not saying that. You don't understand that when things go south, it's tough to get them back.
Yes,
without
you're right.
practices, and all of a sudden everybody caves in. The emotion is gone.
Richard Joyce with a 3-pointer and Ron Downey with a 3-pointer to get them within 20, and Bruce Weber called a timeout without stopping the action because he wanted to get everybody into the game. Fred and Kennedy, walk-on is on the court now, and there's Carter scoring again.
It doesn't matter tonight who goes in. Everything going their way. Great performance by Illinois.
And we've seen a couple great performances by Big Ten teams in this challenge. I thought Michigan State was outstanding last night at Duke.
Great effort.
Well, Georgia Tech annihilated Michigan. They look great. And I wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina hammered Indiana tonight. Joyce fed Visser. It comes back to Richard Joyce, the junior from Mount Airy, North Carolina, and he has 5 quick points off the bench. Under a minute to go. Illinois on its way to its 2nd ever victory against the top-ranked team in the country. They'll go to 5-0. Wake Forest 5-1. Total team effort tonight. Scott Feather has come into the game for Wake Forest. Number 25, a walk-on.
You know, there's no shots. He was trying to tell his players.
Bruce Weber is a classy guy, and he learned under a sportsman and Gene Cady.
Doesn't have the grimaces quite down.
No,
Nor the do.
The good cop, bad cop thing going for a while there.
Matt Painter worked under him as well at Southern Illinois.
will take another shot. And the final seconds tick off on a very impressive performance by Illinois. We'll see if they jump all the way up to #1 in the polls next week. Handshakes already, and Wake Forest, #1 in the nation for the first time in school history, will not stay there for very long, as they were outplayed, Bill, really from the start of the game tonight.